I'm Barry Dutter. This week on The Takeaway, we'll be looking at Thor Ragnarok, the hilarious new comedy about a stumbling, bumbling buffoon who just wanders his way into crazy new adventures. Wait, Thor? Yes, that's right, the God of Thunder himself. His new movie is, in the tradition of Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, it's yet another Marvel comedy. Now that's quite a different direction from the previous two Thor movies. So let's take a look at it and we'll see if it worked. Here we go. As always, spoilers, if you haven't seen Thor Ragnarok yet, well, I won't really give away too much, but anyway, here we go. Number 1, Thor is clumsy, awkward, nervous, talks too much, and fidgety. So basically, Thor is now Jack Tripper. That's my take on him. He's played like a regular human guy. He doesn't really talk or act like a god very often. He still has a little bit of the arrogance, every now and then you catch a little bit of the nobility, but for the most part, it seems like Thor's time on Earth has softened him to the point where now he's just a regular dude. Next, Sif is missing and no one notices. Yes, I know the actress, I believe it's Jamie Alexander, was off busy filming her TV series Blind Spot and couldn't be in the film. But the strange thing is, no one notices that she's not in the movie. It's the most important day in the history of Asgard, and she's not there. I guess she was on vacation or something. Sif takes a holiday. Next, Thor screams like a girl at the thought of getting a haircut. Now, this scene gets a big laugh in the movie. I don't know why Thor would scream when he sees a pair of scissors. It's not like his hair is the source of his power. He's not Samson. To me, it seemed like a cheap laugh at the expense of the character, which is something that used to happen in a lot of superhero movies, and Marvel has largely avoided making fools out of their characters like that. This movie is the closest we've come in a long time to having a Marvel character made out to be a fool by the very studio that created him. Next, Thor screams like a girl when he's on a thrill ride. Yeah, the first time when he meets the Grandmaster, he's on that roller coaster type thing and he starts screaming, and again, not a very noble position for a warrior to have. It wasn't, his reactions were not particularly, courageous or heroic for the hero of the movie. Next, okay, this is a continuity thing. Hela is she's not Thor's sister in the comics or in Norse mythology. She's actually Loki's daughter, according to the website that I checked. So they're playing, fast and loose with the mythology, which is okay. Marvel has created their own version of those classic Norse myths, well, this is a tongue twister for you, that have been around for thousands of years. So this, the Marvel movies are the movie studio's version or Hollywood's version of the Marvel version of the Norse myths. Next, Thor would never say, "Oh my God." Think about it. Thor is a god, and he would say something like Odin's blood, or by Heimdall's beard, or Surtur's axe, or something. But he would not ever say, "Oh my God." That's something a regular Earth dude would say. I don't know. I think Thor has maybe been spending a little too much time on Earth lately. Next, Valkyrie is too short. And look, the actress does a fine job. What's her name? Tessa Thompson, I think. She's good, but Valkyrie is supposed to be this 6-foot something Amazonian warrior, and instead we get this 5-foot tall girl who, is a fine actress, but she's not going to really intimidate anyone or inspire fear in her foes. The Warriors 3 are killed in 30 seconds. Here you've got Thor's 3 best buddies, and I know this establishes Hela as a major threat, but geez, the Warriors 3, boom, 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 they're gone in seconds, and they're just not referred to again. They're just gone. It seems like it was hardly worth the actors showing up to film one scene. Next, the Thor-Hulk fight is the second best superhero fight we've ever seen in a movie. What was the first one? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'll tell you. It's the Thor-Iron Man fight in Avengers Age of Ultron, which was a mediocre movie, but that one scene was spectacular. So this one is also really, really pretty good. Next, Thor gets trashed by Valkyrie, Hela, Hulk, pretty much everybody he comes up against. The Grandmaster, everybody just takes down Thor in this film. He doesn't really get a lot of chance to be heroic, and not till the end. And then when he does get it, it's pretty good, but he really gets, he's like everybody's punching bag in this film. Next, Thor would not say, "He's my friend from work." No. That is not how an Asgardian speaks. He would say, "'Tis my friend." No, he would say, "'Tis my comrade from Midgard." That's what he would say. So, again, Earth is making Thor very soft. Finally, this film, and this is a positive one, had no Jane, no Darcy, and no Dr. Selvig. This is a good thing, as those were the three worst characters in the two previous films. Look, I like Natalie Portman, but her character, Jane, was never given anything interesting to do. Her romance with Thor never really was believable. It just didn't really work. Darcy was a sarcastic, wisecracking comic relief, whatever, we could take her or leave her. Dr. Selvig, he gets naked in the second movie for no particular reason. It didn't make any sense. It's comic relief. Good, let these characters go away. We didn't need them. We don't miss them. No one ever cares about them. So, that's my take on Thor Ragnarok. It was, a very comedic film. A lot of laughs, a lot of big laughs in the first half of the film. And like most action comedies, it gets a little lighter on laughs in the second half. Chris Hemsworth seems to be having a great time in this movie. He seems like he's having the most fun he's ever had playing Thor, and that's rare for the third film in a series. But basically, my take on Thor Ragnarok is that it is the Moonraker of Marvel movies. By that I mean, if you look back at the James Bond films, they started off as pretty straight espionage films in the 60s, but then once they hired Roger Moore to play James Bond, they decided to write to his strengths, and they started cranking out James Bond comedies. Well, this is a Thor comedy. So, if you are a huge Thor fan from the comics, you might not like it so much. My feeling is the filmmakers did what they had to do. The Thor comic book probably sells about 25 or 30,000 copies a month. That is not enough people to sustain a hit film. So they really needed for the film to reach all the hundreds of millions of people who don't buy the comic book. So they essentially created a new personality for Thor. They threw out the old one, they kept little bits and pieces, and they basically gave him a new persona. Audiences love it. People find him relatable and likable, so ultimately they did what they had to do. As a diehard comic book fan, of course, to me this is not my Thor, but okay, it's the Thor that hundreds of millions of moviegoers are embracing. So I guess I'm in the minority on this one. That's my take on Thor Ragnarok. Till next time, we'll see you at the movies.